Greetings. Hope everyone's been staying healthy, both mentally and physically. I want to get practical today and talk about decks. What are decks? Pitch decks, I'm talking about. Decks are PDF presentations. What you may not realize starting out is how important they are, how crucial they are, how many of them you will need to make, and how having a good deck can be the difference between getting a job, raising money, selling a pitch. A good deck versus a bad deck can make all the difference. And so I've made them for a lot of different things, but they're so important. I made a deck when I launched my film company about the company, a company deck. I made a deck when I was trying to raise money for that film company, an investment deck. I made money when I was trying to get my films off the ground, both trying to attach cast and money for the film, a pitch deck or a lookbook for an actual film. I've made decks that are for a treatment. So I spent April doing development on a limited TV series idea that I've had, and have been doing a lot of research on the project and really spending the month mapping out sort of a 6-part limited series. And I have, a 20-page sort of narrative treatment that I did, in pages. And then I have a deck that communicates the project, and I'm trying to sell this project to various parties. And what I send them is the deck. Decks are crucial. They should be thought of like you're thinking about your film. If you're a director, producer, writer, you are going to have to engage with making a deck. Anything that you have to cast vision for, you'll need a deck, because a deck is a presentation of that vision. And they have to be engaging, they have to look good, and they have to have good content, just like the film. A film could look good but just have a horrible story. A film could have an amazing story but look terrible. The best is when it's presented well, the film, and it has something to say. So your deck is the first asset you have to cast vision. If you're a writer who wants to cast vision for what this story could be, you can do that through a deck if you're just trying to sell a pitch as a writer. If you're a director and you're trying to cast vision for what the end movie's going to be, you can do that through a deck. If you're a producer trying to cast vision for production and raise money, you do that through a deck. And especially if you're trying to pitch men and women, executives who get pitched all day, every day, you can't just send them a cover letter and a script. Why? Because every cover letter and every script looks the same. They have 100 scripts they're going to look at. What's going to compel them to look at yours? Yours could be the best. They could read it halfway through. They're like, this is amazing. But they got to read the first page. What's going to compel them to do that? The deck is the first line of attack to do that. And I can promise you, if an executive or an agent or an investor is getting pitched a lot, they have a lot of decks. A lot of them aren't going to be that good. They're going to be little DIY decks that maybe don't communicate the vision effectively, that maybe just look perfunctory. They look like a bad PowerPoint presentation. So a really good deck can still stand out. Having it look amazing is important. It's also got to then communicate effectively. Like I said, like the end product. It's got to look good and it's got to be good. Famously, the Duffer Brothers pitched Netflix on Stranger Things. Their deck is something that people talked about. Did you see their deck? And it was their PDF presentation. They made it look retro like the series, and it was just an executive could read this deck, look at this deck, and say, there is a visionary behind this because of the way this PDF presentation is presented to me. And I am finding that is the case as I have gotten money and cast and crew to come on board for my film, All the Names We Buried. We had a really good deck, both the PDF presentation, but then also like a 2-minute test footage teaser that was just another way to communicate vision, to communicate tone, communicate approach. All of these things were impressive. They got people to look at it before they read the script. All the people then read the script. And if they didn't like it, they didn't do it. They're not going to do your film based on a deck or based on a test footage teaser. But getting the right people to read your script is crucial, and that's hard. It is hard to get busy people to actually spend time reading a screenplay. And I'm doing this now. I'm trying to sell this limited series to ultimately a network. I'd love a network to buy it and pay me to write it and then go off and make it and partner with a production company. So I've got a good deck that communicates what it's about and my approach to it. And hopefully someone can look at it and say, oh, there's this deck is communicating vision and tone and a feeling. I trust the voice behind this deck. And I've been constantly revising decks. I mean, the first deck I made looked really good, but I still didn't quite know how to communicate the information, what pages to have, what to include, what not to include. As I learned, as I failed, realizing, I put way too much information. And so a lot of the versions of the decks that I've done, draft after draft, have been removing information and just really landing on something short and clear. And I'm still learning that process with every new deck I make. It's something I spend a lot of time on, I take a lot of time to do. And I was just talking to a friend yesterday who's a successful writer-director. He's sold a couple of TV shows. He's written on major Hollywood movies. He's directed his own indie films. And he was just saying yesterday, he's just like, presentation of your deck matters, even presentation of your screenplay. The things, the PDFs that you're emailing around, because that's still how it's done right now. I mean, I think if I could make a better deck, I could design something on the web, have something interactive, kind of think out of the box. That's not really an efficient way to communicate because people are forwarding emails to 10 different people, and the PDF attachment, I used to have like 3 different PDF attachments, here, and then it's just like, they always read the wrong one first, so it's just like, okay, there's got to be one PDF attachment, here's the information. And that matters because it's like executives, it's like they're getting emails, forwarded this, okay, let me look on that, and then boom, a PDF deck. It's like, oh, this is causing me to stop. I want to look at this. It is crucial. Spend time to do the deck right. Directors, writers, producers, raising money, launching a company, trying to make a film, trying to sell a pitch. If you're trying to cast vision for anything, you're going to start by consolidating that vision in a deck.